I couldn't wait. Hey, it's Romania Black. No, I couldn't wait. Nope. The last episode, after all of that, I was like, wait, what? Like Makoto let Laurent and Oz just have it. But then there were so many things at the end of it. Like, I was like, did Laurent and Oz think that Makoto was still in on part of the con? He was just taking this opportunity to let loose his thoughts about the entire con and being like, I'm still in the con with you all, but I'm really mad at you guys for not telling me what's up, for manipulating me through all of this, through the entire series, basically. Was that all it was? But he was still with them. Is Cassano in on the con? Where's the money? Why are they on a different island? Why are they not in the city? How do they not know they're not in the city, that they're on a different location? What is happening? And I'm going to stop my dog from going after Toy. But yeah, I'm so floored. I have no clue what to expect at this point. I'm just absolutely reeling from the last episode and the fact that it gave us no answers. It didn't give us any answers at all. It just literally left us on a beach with Azumi, and then Lou is not dead. I thought he was poisoned, so he hasn't died yet. So what? But like I said in the last reaction, that goes against Laurent's rule. That would go against Dorothy's rule that she says we don't kill anybody. So if Laurent actually killed him, no matter how much he probably wants to, it would go against Dorothy's rule. And would Laurent in the end do that? So, how much is Makoto in on the con? Is he still part of the con? What's going to happen with Makoto in the end here with Laurent? What's going to happen to all these characters? We've got this last episode left, and then we're going to talk about it all, but oh my God. And we're going to have a live stream because I want to talk about this in live stream for sure. I am sure that by the time we have the live stream, I'm going to have many more comments as you all catch up to where I am to talk about the series. And so I'm very curious to know your thoughts about it because I've been so intrigued and I love it. But at the same time, I'm like, what the hell? And so far, all the cons have kind of like, they've all come together. But I'm like, how the hell are they going to explain this one? Because this was insanity. And I need to know how it ends. I need to know how the con got all put together, what it all was. I need to know, Great Pretender. And this is the last episode. So, what a journey it's been, right? Starting this around Christmas, what a journey this has been these last 5 months spending with this series. I'm really excited to see what happens, y'all, but we're not going to waste any more time. And hopefully Huckleberry's going to leave me alone with this toy, but we are going to start The Great Pretender and see what happens. And we're going to do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's see what all happens in this final episode. Wow. So I don't know if I like the fact that Dorothy is alive. I don't know how to feel about that. So, wow. Well, the good news is, I guess we should go by this episode in order. The good news is that a lot of the assumptions we made in the reaction and discussion last week actually were the case. That they had to paint the walls of the old headquarters so that then when they arrived and saw the new walls painted, they wouldn't think it was suspicious. Although Cynthia got away really close with having the cat statues, and they were like, those aren't the right cat statues, and she's like, it's close enough, and the drugs were still wearing off for her to be like, whatever, as they went into the room. But man, so that's so fascinating. So I guess we should go back to the beginning. The emergency rations, and Lou has his men building the campsite and everything. And Akemi, who wanted a retirement, gets to sit in her chair on the beach and enjoy retirement. I'm assuming, though, they sent the video to her son, who's going to try to track her down and find her, right? He seems to want to reconnect with her. That is so fascinating. And I love these two sworn enemies, Lou and Suzuki. Once they were by themselves on the beach, all they did was just sit apart from each other. And there was no, fight or scuffle. They were just now that there's no money involved, there's really nothing we can do about it. We just gotta like deal with the situation, right? But the fact that Lou is left with the capsule by himself, the capsule Sengoku, is great. And then of course Ishigami giving up on fishing and his eye just twitching and him just being pissed off about it. It's great. And asking for help, just like Makoto did at the start of the series. And the Wizard of the Far East. So what is interesting about the scene with his mother in the hospital is that we as the audience have been suspecting that Oz did go to see her, that he was visiting her, and that he didn't just abandon her like Makoto thinks. And so we kind of get confirmation of that. The show doesn't have to tell us or show us Oz visiting her. The fact that she has the wizard toy. She says, "Do you know what a wizard can do? He can turn an introverted girl into a cheerful lady," talking about him meeting her. And then she says that the wizard can also take a bedridden invalid on a trip around the world in her bed. Like suggesting he's been going there and telling her stories. He's been visiting her and telling her stories about his travels and his adventures while Makoto's not been there. Because he didn't want Makoto to, he felt bad because he hadn't been around, but he'd been visiting her and telling her stories. So yeah, it's kind of like the show does not show us Oz visiting her, which is what I really wanted them to do, but it gives us, that one scene gave us all we needed to know. It's like he has been visiting her, he has told her stories, he was coming to see her, and so, but at this point, Oz, you know, when Makoto is yelling at him, Oz is like, "What do you want me to say?" He's like, "I know in my heart that I was visiting her. I don't have to prove anything to you." Right? It kind of goes back to what Abby tells Makoto, which is what Makoto told her, to forgive herself. And it seems like Oz has forgiven himself because he knows what he did. He doesn't owe Makoto an explanation. But I am sad that he doesn't seem to like relay that to Makoto. But I'm hoping Makoto figured it out. And then when he gets up and is getting ready, I love that Abby showed up just to drop by before the mission and tell him, saying, "You do what you want. You are no longer trapped by gravity, malice, envy. You're free from everything. That's what you said." And she said, "Who you deceive or betray is up to you. Do what you like, but forgive yourself." I love that. I love that she's like, you know, you do whatever you got to do. If you got to get Kasano, if you got to do whatever. I mean, she doesn't even know about Kasano at this point, but she's like, if you're going to betray us, whatever, but forgive yourself. Don't keep blaming yourself for things that have happened in the past with your mom. Like, which the whole speech that he gave to Oz and Laurent at the end, Makoto is an amazing actor. An amazing actor. Because I really was like, he was letting them have it. And then that's when, and Laurent giving, I love that Laurent says he saw the blood bag inside of Makoto's jacket. And he gave Oz the signal being like, "Look, it's there. Can't you see it?" And that way when they sliced him, it would get the blood bag instead of him. Because it was a real sword. And that's why Makoto left the sword in there being real. Because he wanted to be able to slice the bag. All of it was an act. And a part of me is like kind of mad because I'm like, Makoto was in on it the whole time with them. But then a part of me really is like, I feel like the act was that Makoto knew. He set everything up so he'd be struck down to initiate the shootout. But I feel that everything Makoto said to Laurent and Oz was pretty genuine. He was just, again, that's Makoto's strength. He blends the genuine with the con. That's what makes him such a good con man, because you don't know. It's like if there's always a little bit of truth embedded in the lie, and Makoto's a master of it. So it's like, what the hell? And I feel like at that point, she leaves Makoto, and when he goes down and takes the capsule toy, he doesn't open it. Instead, he puts it away and gets the phone out and calls Kasano. I like that we don't know what the capsule was. He leaves it with Lou at the end. We never know what it was. I feel like the capsule toy for him was like the ring for Laurent. Like him not opening up the capsule toy was him being like, okay, no, I'm going to do things this way this time. And Laurent, once the entire case was over, he just threw the ring out. And I don't know how I feel about Dorothy living. I mean, I'm glad she's alive. I don't wish her character to die. But it does take away from a little bit of the impact that the case had on Laurent, because the question is Laurent ever going to meet up with her again? will that be a possibility? It leaves it completely open to the audience to say, would Laurent ever meet her? I hope he doesn't. If she has amnesia, I hope that she gets to live her life free from all of that and not get drugged back into it because she nearly died the first time. Right? I feel like that should be the case. But I don't know. I honestly feel like him letting go of the ring was him letting go of that part of his life of Dorothy and moving on. And so as happy as I am that she's alive, that she didn't die, I feel like it almost takes away from that moment because I had fully accepted that he had moved on and maybe was going to pursue Makoto. I feel like it opened the ship back up again, and then her being alive at the end, like, threw the ship into question, right? So I don't know. I feel like I want Laurent to move on because even she's not the same person she was before, and I wouldn't want Laurent to get tied up in like the ghosts of his past. So I'm hoping that her just being alive is her chance to like start anew. But I don't know. I don't want Dorothy and Laurent to, I don't know if I want Dorothy and Laurent to see each other again because he clearly is still doing cons and she is not. And that life almost killed her, and I don't want her to have to go back to that. So, I don't know. I'd like Dorothy to live her own life without Laurent, and he can move on and be with Makoto, maybe. I'm assuming he was calling Makoto at the end, being like, are you bored yet? I feel like he was calling Makoto, but he might have been calling Cynthia. He could have been calling Oz. He could have been calling a number of people. Again, we don't know who he was calling at the end. It's probably either Kim, Laurent. It's either Kim, Oz, Cynthia, or Makoto. Who he calls, I don't know. That's the thing. He could have even been calling Kasano. He's in America. He could have been calling Kasano to do things. So we cut to the yacht, the luxury yacht they're all on, the Kolakanth. He says, like I promised, you'll see his face frozen in fear. And he says, I wanted to kill him myself. And Makoto says, no, that's against the rules. You're getting the money I offered you to do this deal. And he's like, fine. So that's the thing. I like that he's like, this is business after all. I'm not thrilled that Makoto worked with Kasano and Sam and Coleman, even though Sam and Coleman aren't the worst of the worst. Kasano was pretty bad. He was like dealing drugs and everything. He was pretty awful. But I feel as if even though I don't like Kasano for what he's done and what he deals with, at least Kasano was okay with not killing Laurent and didn't go back on his word. It was just good business, right? But that's just so weird to see the three of them on the boat, like, playing cards. It's so bizarre. And they all agree to let Kasano deal with it. And then that's when we cut to the house. So, yeah. So, it's so crazy. All of that worry, all of that doubt, everything that I was thinking Makoto was going to betray all Laurent and them to go stay with Akemi. And I was like, please don't do that. She's running a human trafficking ring. Thank goodness that was all an act. But, man, this show really had you questioning things. And then it's revealed that it was all set up from the beginning. He set everything up. But, man, this show really made you question it. It made you think. And then Laurent and Makoto putting everybody to sleep. And then getting them to the fake location. And then Shogo and the entire team from the very beginning, like, helping them transport, getting the rations ready on the island. Like, what the hell? It also is weird when you see Oz, like, going around giving orders. He's like, hurry up and paint. Let's get this done. Let's go. He's a lot like Makoto. When he's running around and he loses his cool and he's like, what is this? Like, the way that his facial expressions are, everything, it is very Makoto. And I would say that of all the Oz moments we've seen, the moment where he's yelling at them to hurry up the paint job is the only time in the series I feel he was like Makoto. And that was a really good moment, though, of him trying to, like, hurry everything along. And then they bring the fake chair. And then everybody gets ready to go. And I love Makoto's face where he looks at the statues. He's like, this could almost be really bad, right? And then Laurent sticking his head out the window like a dog. Being like, look at that fake building. Isn't it ridiculous? And then, oh my God, the scene where they're all just shooting and just dancing around. What the hell? Where he's like, oh, I've been shot. And they're all just like leaping with the guns. What the hell? I feel like I've seen that GIF before. Oh my God. I actually think I have seen the GIF of Cynthia with the guns jumping up and down. I've seen that before, and I didn't realize it was Great Pretender at the time. I'm glad I forgot about it, because I honestly forgot about that moment until now. Otherwise, that would have been a big spoiler, but I forgot completely about it. It's been shown to me before, and I forgot it was for Great Pretender. Ah. And then they're like, okay, Makoto, you can, for Christ's sake, could you come up with a better plan? And then he's like father, like son. And then Makoto says, and I love Makoto, like, slaps his hand away and says, we're nothing alike. But he's in such good spirits. I'm like, damn it. The only good thing to come out of this is that Makoto gets in good spirits again, right? I honestly feel that Makoto, he set the whole thing up with Kasano originally, and he was going to let them come in and basically betray Laurent and them and kill them all. I feel like that was originally the plan, because Makoto wasn't forgiving himself, and he was driving down deeper and deeper into despair. And it was Abby's words that got him out of that funk and got him to realize, like, you can forgive yourself and start over. It's fine. Abby's like, I'm doing it. You can do it too. And so while it seems like it just came in the final hour, I am so glad that he's gotten rid of the smoking, rid of the human trafficking. Like, he decided to, like, get out of that. Like, I'm so glad Makoto, even if it was, like, the biggest act in the world and I fell for it, I'm so glad he's not still in that funk and he just let go with it, right? And that's when he's like, we're going down. I love he pulls he gets to pull the lever. Elevator going down. And then they're all on the boat at the end of it. And then I like Kasano's like, will you guys... So we find out that Coleman and Kasano and Sam are all connected to one another through various things, right? And Makoto had the paint bag on him, washing it off. I rented the props and the tight-lipped henchman. And she's like, you were serious? He said, yes. But a certain con artist once told me, forgive yourself. So yeah, that's not the only reason, though. And he said, you never say what your true feelings are. And you know what? Yeah, no, I like this. So Makoto was being serious until Abby talked to him, and then he kind of changed his tune up at the last minute. But when she says you never say what your true feelings are, that's like Laurent. That's basically Laurent. Makoto and Laurent are so similar. They really don't say their true feelings with one another at all, right? She says you never say your true feelings. It's like the same goes for you. You don't ever say your true feelings either. And he's like, Laurent, I'm surprised you know how to play along with edamame. When he poked the sword into Oz's chest, the blood bag was so obvious. To the point where you almost wonder if Makoto was doing it so that you could see the blood bag. And then Laurent was like, oh. He's like, I wasn't sure if Oz could see it. So I did that. Yeah, to give me a view of it. And so, yeah, they explain the magic trick. He's like, I narrowly missed slicing into you. And he's like, I bet it felt good, huh? It's crazy that it's like the one moment where Makoto and Oz, they both acknowledge that they don't like each other, but they're over it. So they've got to deal with each other for this. So they just kind of let bygones be bygones. And then Kim asks if he feels good getting back at Lou. And he said, yes, it felt awesome. And he switched up the needle on the ring. That's another thing, too. I do respect Laurent a lot because he could have poisoned Lou and killed him, but that wasn't Dorothy's rules. And so he went by Dorothy's rules and he just stabbed him with the pin, but there was no poison. So he did it just to freak him out. And I love that Cynthia, she has this look on her face like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, just, we went through all of that and now you're done? Oh, okay. And she's like, but this is our biggest haul ever. Although they say by the time that they built the building, they hired the men, they paid off Kasano and the others and everything, they just barely broke even. So they really didn't make all that money off of it, but that wasn't the point. The point was that Laurent wanted to get back at Lou for killing Dorothy. And that was the whole point. And so then on the beach, there's the chair and everything that's left behind. And just the mountain of just junk We don't see what happens to them, but we do see everybody passed out on the ship. He's like, I'm glad I made up with these three. And Makoto's like, did you send that email? And he's like, yes, along with the video that Shion took. I love the look of Makoto. And I mean, Laurent is still in the suit, but I love the look of Makoto with the unbuttoned shirt without the tie and the suit jacket that's undone. He looks so much freer in that moment. And he looks more like loosened up. Like he's just letting things go. I want to get a picture of that. Like he just looks more at peace with himself, which is like the most casual we've seen Makoto. Because Makoto has always been very straight-laced and very like done up. And here he's just like chilling out with him on the boat. And so they sent the email to the son of Akemi. Now it's up to Akemi and her son how to live their lives. And then she shows her screaming. And he jumps up and says his mom. And he does kind of look a little bit like Makoto, a tiny bit, but he's got like the fro. And then Makoto's like, how they live their lives, huh? Like you and Oz. And then Makoto's like, quit trying to make us make up. No, we're going to live our lives. What will you do after you get out of this racket? And he's like, well. And so he asks him, why doesn't he open up a coffee shop? And Makoto's like, I don't really care for coffee, but I would like to make people happy with it. And then he decides to go sleep. I feel like it's left very unsaid. Like, the two of them, like, they get the idea for the coffee shop and everything, and then it's kind of just left out in the open. Like, they both say goodnight, and that's it. And a part of me was like, that's it? That's all we're going to get between them at the end? But if you believe that Laurent was calling Makoto at the end about the con, then... Like, Makoto didn't really say he was done with cons for good. He just said he wanted to open up a coffee shop. He might do it because it would make people happy. So, I don't know. They leave that open for us to interpret what to do with that. But yeah, they both say goodnight, and that's it. And that's when Laurent kisses the ring and said, all's well now, and throws it away. And so a few weeks later in Tokyo, we see Oz. And he says that Makoto's rebellious period has ended. Like this whole series was Makoto's rebellious phase. Really? This is just Makoto. Makoto's having his teenage rebellious phase, so now he can move on into adulthood, I guess. And I love that we find out the whole time that that Oz has cared about her. He's like, I wonder if it was right for me to keep silent about you. I'll be busy for all taking care of the kids that we rescued. Like he had said he would. Once I found foster parents for all of them, I think I'll have a drink with Makoto. So I guess Oz this whole time, as like untrustworthy as he seemed, he was working with Makoto's mom this whole time. Just Makoto didn't know it. And he was actually finding foster homes for the kids that he rescued from the trafficking industry. And once this case gets done, he says he's going to have a drink with Makoto. So that opens up the idea of, I could honestly see Makoto and Laurent and Oz working together as a trio in the future, because none of them really truly trust and get along with each other 100%. They're not all chummy, but at the same time, they know each other and how each other works. I don't know. That opens up a lot of possibilities as to what could happen. A lot of possibilities. Interesting. And that's when, Kim tries to call him. And I do love that Oz in this episode looks the most like Makoto he's ever looked. Where he was just like, nope. And he hangs up on Kim. He doesn't want to go to Korea with her. And instead she's talking with Voodoo. And I like this kind of pseudo-ship of Kim with Voodoo. I kind of like it, where he's like my ex-wife, my daughter, and you can just tell Kim's like, forget about her. But you know they're both going to like go try to find her. His daughter's so cute. And then I thought it was Abby from the start that was with Cynthia in Europe. I thought it was Abby, but no, Kaween is, for a second I was like, did Abby have a different name? But no, Kaween is one of the kids that was rescued from the human trafficking. So Cynthia took them with her. And they stop at the stall. Yeah, it's the boy it's the boy that was like the leader there. You have to decide for yourself, Colleen. And that's when they find the portrait of the, that's my little brother, I drew him. And that's when he like takes the portrait. Yeah, okay, because when he smiled, I was like, that doesn't really look like Abby. But instead, Abby's off in Nevada, mountain climbing. I love it. And I love that she gets to the top of the mountain. Like, Abby's living her own life, doing her own thing. And she sends the photo of her flipping off the camera to Makoto, who meanwhile in Okinawa is trying to get cafe started. What will you do? And I love the cafe kind of looks like the color scheme and everything is a little bit like Cynthia's, only it's run down, but the color scheme's kind of the same. And he says, I'm going to taste different types of coffee from around here. And he's got like the floral shirt and everything with the cardigan over it. He has the floral Hawaiian shirt like Laurent wears, but with the cardigan over it. I'm not done shipping them. No, I'm not done shipping them at all. He's still wearing Laurent's like floral shirt, but with the cardigan. How about that? He's like, they're all great in these parts. And then he says, the next U.S. president's a real doozy. Haven't I seen him from somewhere before? And that's when Abigail sends him the photo, and he says, short hair suits her better. If you ship Abigail and Makoto by the end of this, I don't blame you. I see that ship. I love the fact that it's Abigail that was the catalyst for him changing, and Abby was the catalyst for him doing the right thing. There is a part of me that does ship Makoto with her a little bit, but then there's another part of me that views them as like best friends and like brother and sister. So it's hard. It's hard. I'm glad Makoto in the last episode got to say his piece to Laurent and be like, you were being an asshole to me, just letting you know. And Laurent's like, I'm glad you told me your feelings. So there's a part of me that's torn. There's one part of me that would love to ship Makoto with Abby, and there's another part of me that would love them to be friends and for me to ship Laurent and Makoto on various adventures together from here on in. There's that. I'm totally on board with that. And then there's a part of me that I ship Laurent and Dorothy pre-Lou Shanghai, but like her with amnesia, I kind of don't want him to get back together with her because she's not the same person she was before. So then we go to the U.S., where for a hot second, I thought that Kasano was going to be president. I don't know why, but I thought Kasano was going to be the president for a hot second and was like, ugh. And then Laurent says he sure climbed his way up. He's like a modern day Hideyoshi. Huh. And then we see, he's like, thank you. But I'm like, have we seen him before? Have we seen him before? I feel like we have. And he says, hi, you must be dying of boredom by now. And that's it. So, did he call Makoto? Did he call Cynthia? I feel like he didn't call Cynthia because Cynthia has Koeen, has the kid. I feel like Laurent knew that she had the kid, but maybe he called either Oz or Makoto. I feel like he called Makoto, but I could be wrong. I did not expect this episode to be as succinct as it was, and for everything to get wrapped up as tightly as it did. And there were still questions about Lou and Suzuki, but I guess her son's gonna take care of her in that regard. What I do like is that Laurent kept to the principles that Dorothy set, and I feel like Makoto was okay in the end with what they were doing because no one was being killed, right? No one died. It was all, and in the end, Oz took responsibility and found families for the kids that were trafficked. So, what a series. I don't know how to feel. I need to process. I feel like I need to process this episode and the series as a whole. But luckily, we're going to be doing a live stream about the series here shortly. I'll have information about it on Patreon as well as the community post on YouTube. But once this episode has premiered on YouTube, we'll be having a live stream about it to talk about the series as a whole, to talk about the characters, about Laurent and Makoto and Oz and everything else, to talk about them as well as the animation, because the animation, what I've loved each episode is just viewing Sadamoto's art. Like, I felt like going from Neon Genesis to The Great Pretender and seeing the artwork still there was really, really nice. But God, I'm fine with the ending. I don't like the after credits with Dorothy still being alive because I feel like it takes away from the impact of her death and that scene where he throws the ring out. But it felt very Titanic where he's like, eh. It felt like Rose at the end of Titanic where he throws the ring away. I was like, okay, Jack. But I liked the ending overall. I feel like it was a very ambiguous ending, but with this series, I feel like it almost needed to be to leave it wide open for the audience to interpret whatever they want to. Like, does Laurent get Makoto to join him again? Does he not? We don't know. I feel that was just left up to us, so we'll see, right? But in any case, I was really happy about this ending. I've enjoyed this series as a whole. There hasn't been much discussion in the comments or on Discord or YouTube about it. So it has felt like just me watching the series and talking to you all about it. But hopefully we get to the live stream, there can be more discussion about it on there. Hopefully when we get to it. But I have enjoyed the series. It was good. It wasn't like thought-provoking deep in any crazy way. It wasn't like Monster or Vinland Saga or the series I'm watching where there's a lot of like symbolic breakdown. It was just mainly a thrilling like crime series. But I really enjoyed it. I'm glad that I saw it because it had been bugging me for years having not seen it. And there's definitely the characters of Laurent and Makoto. I would want to watch more with them in the future if we ever got anything more. But since it's anime original, I doubt that. I know they were making a manga at one time, but then I heard that the mangaka's health like got bad, so they had to put it on hiatus, which is sad. So I feel like ever since then, the series just kind of like went into obscurity, but it's definitely worth it. I like it. So we'll talk more in the live stream about this series, but I'm really glad that I got to watch it. I hope you all are too, but The Great Pretender. So I'm excited for the live stream. I hope you all can join in and talk about it with me there. But otherwise, I'm excited to hear your thoughts down below. No more worries about spoilers. We are good to go. So I can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments and at the live stream. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'll be back very soon to talk one more time about The Great Pretender. Bye.